Hi, guys. I hope all is well with you and that you are doing well. You are all healthy and happy as always. So, for today, we will be talking about another very important topic under the Unpacking the Self, which is the material self. And our objectives are the following: to develop understanding about material self, to describe the basic components of material self, to discuss the influence of the media in our material possessions, and lastly, to develop the good qualities of a wise buyer. Okay, so first things first, let us know what exactly is material self. Material self is actually our concept of self as being reflected in the totality of all the tangible things that we own. So the material self includes our bodies and those that are tangible possessions that actually gives us identity. Also, it includes the possessions that are a part of our extended version of ourself. Now, there are several factors affecting our material self, and these are our financial constraints, the availability of the items or the services, the influence of our family and friends, and also it includes our wants, if not our needs at the same time. Now, according to James, he said that material self is primarily about our bodies, our clothes, our immediate family and home. He said that the material self is the sum total of all he called his, not only his body, psychic powers, but also his clothes and including his wife and his children. So there is really this big sense of possession and even masochistic. No, even there's a bit of gender discrimination there because the wife and the children are being considered as a possession. That's according to James anyway. That is not according to me. Okay, so another thing that James said, he said that material self also includes his ancestors, his friends, his reputation, and even his works, his land, his yacht, the bank account, and all those things that, give the person the same emotions. So he said, if they wax and prosper, he feels triumphant. If they dwindle and die away, he feels cast down. Not necessarily in the same degree for each thing, but in much the same way for all. So, an example for that statement is that when we lose something, we definitely feel that loss. However, the degree or the gravity of the emotions that we feel would vary on the value that we attach to that particular thing or object or of that particular material that we possess. So, for instance, if I will lose my pen, of course, if that pen is my favorite pen, I will feel bad. However, if I will lose my cell phone, my mobile phone, I will feel terrible about it because my cell phone has more value as compared to my favorite pen. I hope you get the point that James is giving us. Okay. Now, another important thing that we have to know about the material self is that it has its composition. So, what are the different composition of the material self? We have the body. Okay, guys, please take note. This is according to James. Okay, he said we have the body, the clothes, the immediate family, and our home. James said that when we talk about our body, he said that body refers to the innermost part of ourself. and that intentionally we invest in our body. Okay, and how do we invest in our body? Of course, we take good care of it. We eat healthy foods. We drink vitamins. We take supplementaries that are deemed important or that are really helpful to keep us all healthy. So that is how we take good care, and that is how we invest in ourselves. We are directly attached to this commodity that we cannot live without it, because of course our body is basically and actually and totally part of ourselves. So we strive to make sure that our body functions well, and we also see to it that our body is always in a good condition, and that any ailment or any sickness or any disorder will always directly affects us. So we do have that certain preferential attachment to our intimate closeness to certain parts of our body. I think we have our own fetish, like we care much for the ladies. Okay, they said kilay is life. Okay, for the gentlemen, I think they care more on their masculinity, and they always see to it that they have this very good physical appearance. Okay, so that is what they focus more about their body. So each one of us, we have this distinctive favorite parts of our body. So for example, among celebrities, very famous is Mariah Carey. I hope you know her. She's quite famous actually, but she belongs to my to my, how would I say that one, to my genre, or uh she's a bit old, okay, just like me. So anyways, that's what I'm saying now. She actually have her legs insured. Why? Because she gives her legs a very high, I mean, she values her legs that much. Also, she insured her vocal cords because she's a singer actually, and so she values much because that is her primary ways, or if not source of her income. Okay. Another, I think Rihanna also insured her legs, and even Angelina Jolie. And it costs millions of pounds. Okay, not just dollars but pounds. That is how they value their body parts. Okay. For ordinary people like us, we can do the same if we can afford so. But for us, okay, for you guys, I encourage you to get an insurance for your health. Take it as a savings at the same time, because we'll never know whatever would come in our way. So it is of great importance that we set aside something in case of emergency, because our body is very vital in our existence. It would be so detrimental if we will have an ailment that we could not afford to treat, and that is why we need to have savings in case of emergency. Okay, so that is how we value our body, and that is how some rich individuals insured their body parts. Now let's talk about clothes. Okay, which is the second component of our material self. Actually, when we say clothes, the style and the brand, and the how would I say this one? Even the materials of the fabrics, the fabrics of the clothing that you wear, it has a symbolic significance, because it kind of says something about you. It says about your attitude, your behavior, and your personality. Do you go for posh outfits and chic outfits, or you like wearing shabby stuffs, or you like wearing comfortable things? Personally, I go for the chic, and I go for comfort. I am not much into the brand names because, first and foremost, I am a very practical person. I don't spend much on my clothing, but if there are some handouts, why not? I would never refuse such. It's a blessing anyway. Okay, so as I was saying, when we say clothes, this is a material component of the self that, of course, is of high importance. Why? Because it is also a form of our self expression. We choose and we wear clothes that actually and knowingly, okay, reflects ourself. I think you would all agree with that one. Like, for the ladies, I suppose you would like to wear whatever is the fad or the fashion, the very chic fashion is of the moment. And for the gentlemen, they usually go for comfort. That's how I see. That's how I see almost all of the gentlemen. They always go for comfort, and they also see to it that the material of the clothing that they would go for are long lasting. They always see to it that the quality is really good. Okay, not much for the ladies because I mean personally or generally speaking, we always see to it that we always look fashionable, posh, chic, and of course, for me, I always go for comfort and a classy look there. And of course, I always see to it that I look clean all the time. And it's ladies, it's very important to be hygienic. It is not just about being fashionable, it is also important that you look dainty and you look classy at the same time. Okay, so there. Now let's move to another component, and that is the immediate family. Now, these people are likely the ones who are responsible in shaping us and in giving us a huge influence on how we develop our self identity, because our parents and our siblings are like a very huge part or a very very important part of ourselves, because they are actually responsible for raising us in the first place, right? For feeding us and for not just shaping us, but also molding us and providing us and disciplining us and guiding us at the same time. And they are responsible for almost everything in our existence. That is why our parents, our family is very important part of ourselves. So what they do basically the affects us, right? Okay. How? Okay. And let's put it this way. Um, let's say your sibling, okay, your sister perhaps, just for instance, she got pregnant, okay? And our neighbors being so, okay, being so and being very concerned citizen, just like the Maritas that we have, the Marivic and the Maricris around in our neighborhood, they are very concerned citizen. And so they would always say, oh, your sister is, that blah, 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 and she got pregnant, right? Oh, you have to be very careful not to be like her. See, those individuals, okay, do this kind of people tends to tends to judge us, or they tend to put shame, if not guilt, based on what is happening to ourselves, not thinking really that it's none of their business at all, right? Okay, so um another is that we place a huge investment in our immediate family when we see them as the nearest replica of ourselves. So we really value them, and so we even worship them. Like whenever something happens to our brother or sister, we are really really that we became really affected. That it is as if we are the ones who got sick, we are the ones who has experienced such a failure. Or when we talk about let's go to the good side to the positive side, If our brother or our sister wants something or has received a very good award, let's say passing the bar exam, passing the board exam, we are the very first one to celebrate, and it is as if we are the ones who committed the victory, right? Just like even winning the Miss Universe pageant, if it is the Philippines, we became so proud and we are so happy and we celebrate. Well, that is just one of the very culture of being a Filipino. So we have this very strong sense of a close family ties. When the lives of our immediate family are in success, we feel happy, we celebrate their victory. And it is as if that we are the one who get that particular reward, and I know you will agree with me in that one. Now, in case of failure or shame or guilt, we also feel very sorry. We are that much affected at the same time. So, when they are put in a very disadvantageous situation at the same time, when there is this sense of urgency to help them, risbak judayon sa way pagduha-duha, diba? We are always at the back, very much ready to to lend a helping hand, to provide support, be it financially, morally, or spiritually. We are just there for each other. That is how very good our close family ties culture as a Filipino. So another is that having pets, right? I know for a fact that we if not all of us, but almost all of us, we have our pets at home. And sometimes we consider them as part of our family. And sometimes also our pets becomes a status symbol. Why? Because if your pet is of that high breed and very expensive, okay, and also the maintenance for that particular pet is also very expensive, then it becomes your status symbol. However, some people are going against the typical norm, or pets are already being very famous these days, and actually all dogs are just the same. They're animals. It is up to you and how you value them and on how you take good care of them. That's what I'm saying. So there. Now let's move forward to the last component of the material self, and that is home. So, a very famous adage says that home is where the heart is. Why is that? It is, I think, basically very self explanatory, and I know all of us could explain that really. Why? Because home is home, and it is where our loved ones are, and we always long and we always seek to be home, to have that comfort, to have that sense of belongingness at the same time, and also to have that very sense of joy and happiness. That is home, right? That is why they say home is where the heart is, because it is where we have our most, if not our lifelong memories being, where it took place rather. Okay, so that is home. But mind you guys, not all of us really are having that kind of happy, joyful, safe home. So the thing is that even if we do not consider home as happy just like the rest of the world is, because perhaps our home is chaotic, perhaps we belong to a uh, separated family, or perhaps we really are living in that very different setup, like we transfer from one place to another. But the thing is, we all need home, and that is part of our material self. Why? Because we basically need shelter, we need roof over our head, walls on our side to protect us, so that we won't get wet, we won't feel the scorching heat of the sun. So it is no longer about the intangible value of that particular home, but it is more on the practical aspect on how a home provides you a sense of comfort, and how a home makes you or gives you sense of security and safety. So that's it, the four components of the material self. Now, let's talk about the effects of the material possessions. Material possessions are the things that we actually possess, the things that we own. Okay, I remember my son when he was like 2 to 5 years old, he has this very strong sense of being possessive. So everything that you touch, he always claims that mine, mine, everything is his. Like that's mine, that's mine, that's mine. But I think it's not just my son. I think I'm talking about all the kids. Like when they saw something like a toy and it looks like, or if it's the same as the toy that they have, then they would just say, hey, that's mine or whatever, however whoever they would say that one, ako na, like, and then it would yield to fighting among the kids. So the sense of of this particular uh, effect of having a strong sense of possessiveness, or the effects of material possessions are, you know, really, how would you say that one? It really creates a great impact on each one of us. So regardless of how much or how little your material possessions, regardless of how less or how more people have, they are always interested in material possessions. So possessions actually can be used as, of course, a status symbol. Possessions can be considered as our basic needs, or it could also be considered as our wants. So it would matter as to the value of that particular possession. Now, when we say material possession, guys, there are different, as I was saying, it gives us a huge impact. Now, there are different effects, or there are different impacts a possession could give us. Okay, so let's say, for instance, in the old in the olden days, okay, so I'm that old. When I was in elementary, we don't have gadgets, we don't have cell phone. The only thing that we have is the brick game, the one that, like playing Tetris. That is all we have at that time. We don't have the mobile phones. Now these days, you guys, you have all the myriad kinds of gadgets. Now, question: does it makes you more happy? Does it makes you feel more satisfied as compared to those children who don't have those gadgets? What do you think? So I believe you would answer no, right? Because material possession would only make you happy only if you attach so much value to that particular object or to that particular material. So when you don't give much value of that thing, so that it wouldn't then give much impact. So whether you lose it or whether you have it all the time, it doesn't matter, right? And also, um, when we say material possession, it can also be a reflection of your hard work or of your success. For instance, you feel like you are working so hard, and so you said, hey, I need to reward myself, so I'm going to buy something. Or some people would tend to measure success also through material possession, like, oh, my friends already got their own house and lot, and they are already driving their own cars. How about me? I don't even know how to drive, so I feel so pathetic, and I feel such being such a loser because I measure the success through the material possessions of the people that surrounds me, and which is really not good, guys. Because you could be successful in a different manner. You could be successful doing things that you love, that you are passionate about, and for all you know, those people who got their own house, they are loaning it from the bank. They got their car through auto loan, and which is not really practical. Why? Because when you make some loans, it has a very huge, like humongous amount of interest. So the best way is that if you would want to have your own house, if you would want to have your own car, save for it, buy it in cash, because the amount of money that you spend is the exact amount that you are paying for that, for the value of that house and for the value of that car. Unlike when you loan, okay, there's a lot of hidden charges. There's a huge interest that is attached to that loan, and so it is very much impractical. So in acquiring material possessions, it is important that we have to be prudent, we have to be practical, and we have to see to it that it is really something that we need, not just because we want it, because it is the fad. Just like, having the iPhone 13 because it is already released in the market right now. Please make sure that you will not sell your kidney for that one or any internal organs for sale just to get that iPhone 13, because next year there will be another iPhone model, that there would be iPhone 14 and 15 and so on. And the specifics, I mean the things that they do are just basically the same. It's used to text, it's used to chat, it's used to call. So it doesn't really matter. It's just, a matter of a status symbol. Well, I'm not saying that you shouldn't buy it because it's not practical. What I'm saying here is that if you can afford to do so, why not? Live in lavishness if you can afford. But then, if you only have enough, then just be very prudent. You spend wisely and make sure that you save for the rainy days, because, as I've said earlier, everything right now is, really unpredictable. We are still in this pandemic, in this pandemic stage. So we are not yet done with this pandemic. So it is important that we have to be very vigilant. We have to save, and we have to, how would I say this one? We have to be very practical. Okay, I keep on saying practical. That's too much already. And I know you get what I'm saying here. So those are the effects of material possession.
Don't forget to